Hello, and welcome to our build guide video. Seismic Trap is one of the signature trap skills that have a cooldown. When it's triggered, it pulses with powerful explosions all around itself for a limited duration. You can't spam with this skill all the time, as you will quickly run out of charges. This downtime gives you an excellent opportunity to focus on dodging and repositioning during the boss fights, which is where the build shines the most. Seismic Trap is well known in the Path of Exile community for being one of the strongest spells out there when it comes to single target damage. Many players were cautious about this skill when it got a significant nerf in patch 3.19, but as it turned out, it's still very good. In this iteration of the build, we are recommending the Poison variant. Poison is a damaging ailment that deals damage over time based on the physical and chaos damage, which this trap has plenty of. It also works very well with multiple hits, as every explosion will apply yet another stack of poison. Due to being cooldown based, it would be unwise to rely on it for both single target and map clear. To help with that, you should use Exsanguinate paired with trap support. Tendrils created by that spell can very easily cover great areas to quickly kill all weak monsters in sight, and you can spam this skill to your heart's content. You will be quickly moving around the map with whirling blades and killing whole packs of monsters with Exsanguinate traps. On bosses or other tough enemies, use your Seismic Trap to take them down in the blink of an eye. Thanks to the Grace, Determination, and Saboteur's Blind Aura, you will be very safe against all attacks, while easy access to high spell suppression will take care of rest. Furthermore, you will be immune to most ailments without any effort. The trap playstyle is very safe by itself, as you won't be locked in place for a long time. The clear speed is quite good. One quick trap throw is all you need to clear out whole screen of monsters. Single target damage is on a whole new level. Poisons require a bit of ramp up, but once it's ready, bosses will melt in seconds. The build is very affordable, as most of the damage comes from the skill mechanics itself. It has a pretty clear upgrade path, so you can easily become stronger and stronger with every investment you make. This build can be played with only random rare items, but there are plenty of very strong unique items that boost your damage to absurd numbers, such as Cold Iron Point or Ming's Heart. The very first unique you should aim for is the Devouring Diadem to enable additional aura in your setup. Cold Iron Point is definitely our best in slot item when it comes to damage. For maximum effect, you can dual wield them, but you will notice a drop in your survivability pretty quickly. Obliteration is another great option to use. It grants you a lot of chaos damage based on your physical damage, and since Dot's kills count as yours, it will trigger a lot of explosions. Thanks to the Devouring Diadem, you will be able to use your second defensive aura. Getting a modifier that increases the duration of ailments while focused would be ideal. Skin of the Lords is a very strong unique armor that grants insane amounts of damage, if you manage to find one with appropriate socket colors. Make sure the randomized keystone is not harmful either. Tinker Skin is quite useful armor for all trap setups, however the life and energy shield recovery is not that great here, as traps triggered by chain reactions do not work with that modifier. Dendrabate is another great alternative for your body armor. It helps with poison chance and grants a lot of damage if you have enough attributes. Olesia's Delight converts your frenzy charges into affliction charges. They grant more damage than regular frenzy but do not provide cast speed, which is not required by traps anyway. With those boots you will have easy access to 5-link setup for your Exsanguinate trap, as well as decent movement speed since you will be throwing traps all the time. Hands of the High Templar are quite tricky to get right, but the possibilities are endless. The most useful corrupted implicits are Curse on hit and additional frenzy charges. Azimuth's Gentle Touch is another great alternative for your glove slot. They automate one of your curses and additional explosions improve your clear a bit. Ming's Heart is a very powerful ring with an impactful drawback. It grants you tons of damage at the cost of your maximum life. Use Noxious Catalyst to boost chaos-related modifiers, such as the extra chaos damage. There are plenty of useful modifiers for your auras on Watcher's Eyejewel. Damage over time multiplier from the Malevolence provides the most damage, but defensive modifiers are also useful. On your rare items, you should prioritize defensive properties, such as life, resistances, or spell suppression chance. The only exception to that rule is your amulet and possibly the rings. You will also need plenty of attributes to meet your gem's requirements. At first, you can use a regular rare helmet with life, resistances, or attributes. You can also combine essences and eldritch influence to get some mana reservation efficiency for your auras. Before you acquire unique weapon, use a rare wand that boosts your gem's levels, or provide a lot of damage over time multiplier. Use this slot to improve your defenses. Try to get a lot of life, spell suppression, or elemental resistances. You can also try to get additional levels for your spells, but you would have to trade your spell suppression chance for that. It's actually your best option if you want to improve your survivability. Aim for high life, spell suppression, and resistances. You can improve your physical mitigation by crafting specific veiled modifier. In your belt slot you can acquire a large amount of life and resistances. You can also get some useful flask modifiers. Try to get the Stygian Vice as a base so you can use additional Abyss Jewel. Once you get gloves with trap support, you can replace Deerstalker boots with rare boots that grant you maximum life, resistances, and solid movement speed. You can get a lot of useful modifiers on your rare gloves. Obviously, get high maximum life bonus, but apart from that, try to get dot multiplier, curse on hit, or trap throwing speed. You can also get built-in trap support, but it's quite expensive if you want to combine all those modifiers in one item. Your rare amulet is very impactful for your damage. Try to get additional levels for your gems and relevant dot multiplier. Other than that, regular life and resistances are good enough. If you want the more defensive option than the Ming's Heart, simply use a rare ring with life, resistances, and attributes. You can also get the Despair on hit to automate your setup or craft dot multiplier with essences. Try to get increased life and some other useful modifiers on your jewels, such as resistances, attributes, and poison damage. You can also get some poison chance if you still lack it. Unholy Might granted by Sin's Rebirth unique flask is a very potent damage boost for this build. Additional evasion is also always useful. You can use a lot of various magic flasks depending on the content you run, but we recommend using Life Flask with bleeding removal, Quicksilver Flask with additional attack speed, Granite Flask with an increased armor rating modifier, and Jade Flask with an increased evasion rating modifier. The main feature of this build, Seismic Trap, creates a series of small explosions all around itself for a limited duration after being triggered. A short cooldown prevents throwing large quantities of traps at once. Increasing the duration works very well as it will increase the number of hits and the duration of inflicted poisons, while increasing the gem levels is very important to boost your total damage output. Exsanguinate fires a series of tendrils at all nearby enemies, inflicting poisons and physical dot. The damage of this trap is rather mediocre, but it's sufficient for clearing packs of monsters. Sources of additional chains also affect tendrils. The easiest way to add chains is by using chain support. Malevolence Aura gives an enormous bonus to your damage over time effects and their duration. Thanks to the Eldritch Battery Keystone, you can use this aura with the Divine Blessing support, which turns it into a temporary buff that doesn't reserve mana, but requires quite a high upfront cost. Grace is your main defensive aura that gives you a lot of flat evasion rating and more evasion multiplier. Determination Aura works just like Grace, only this time it adds and improves the armor rating. Herald of Agony is a pretty important skill as it grants you a lot of poison chance with your skills. Summon Skitterbots is a very strong aura that improves your trap damage and applies shock and chill on your enemies. You should put all those gems in your Devouring Diadem helmet. Drop one aura of your choice if you don't have access to it. The Despair Curse significantly lowers the chaos resistances of affected foes, increasing your poison damage. Temporal Chains lowers the action speed of your enemies and makes your poisons last longer, thus improving your damage. Arcanist Brand will cast both linked curses on enemies it's attached to. Alternatively, you can use Bane or cast them yourself, saving you one gem socket. Wither applies a very strong debuff that increases chaos damage taken by your enemies. Use it with spell totem support so it can cast it while you keep damaging your foes. Multiple totem support is useful to have better uptime on high wither stacks. Whirling blades quickly move you in a short distance when you use that skill. It scales very well with your attack speed and has no cooldown. You can also use flame dash instead, especially if you use wands. Molten Shell adds a lot of armor for a short duration and absorbs part of incoming damage. Vol version offers even stronger absorption and duration. Killing all bandits to get 2 bonus passive point skills is the best option for this build. With the upgraded Soul of the Brine King as your major Pantheon power, you will be immune to all basic elemental ailments. It will also prevent getting stunlocked by packs of monsters. For your minor Pantheon power, use the Soul of Shikari. It grants a very strong defense against poisons and other chaos damage. The passive tree is pretty straightforward and well suited for leveling. At first, you will want to grab all the trap and maximum life notables. The trap trigger area of effect is especially useful before you acquire the chain reaction ascendancy notable in the Cruel Labyrinth, as it will help with triggering many traps by a single enemy. A bit of spell suppression in the passives is very helpful, as it saves you a few suffixes on your gear. You should have most of the poison notables before you transition into full poison setup during leveling. Whispers of Doom allow you to use your second curse. It's very important for your poison damage, but not that much during the campaign. The small passive point that grants a 5% effect of your curses can be skipped for higher levels when you don't have that many options to spend your passives anyway. Trap Mastery that makes your trap immune to damage is a great quality of life boost if there is a lot of area of effect attacks going on. Duration Mastery is very important for your damage, as it will make your Seismic trap create more explosions and inflict poisons that last longer. You will have to pick up plenty of mana reservations passives before you can use all your auras. The Born in the Shadows is great defensive ascendancy notable, as it gives you generic damage reduction and blinds nearby enemies, but it doesn't work against ground effects. This is everything you need to know about Seismic Trap Saboteur before you play it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more of our content in the future. Have a good day, and see you in the next one.